Good, excuse me. Good evening, everybody. It is so lovely to welcome you into my home. Video stopped, did it? Has it stopped? I don't think so. Can everybody hear me okay? Can somebody send me a signal and say that they're hearing me okay? Good evening, everybody, and welcome into my humble home on this Tuesday evening in October. I do believe it is the 6th. I hope you're all doing very, very well this evening. I'm going to be your host all week this week, potentially, as Saman unfortunately cannot read. And I look very much forward to reading you 1001 Arabian Nights. My name is Joanna Godwin Seidl. I am the director of Vienna Theatre Project. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, during the lockdown in March, my colleague and I, Saman Giraud, decided to read 1001 Arabian Nights to keep everyone entertained while we are all stuck at home. So for those of you who are stuck at home right now, I'm terribly sorry. I hope you're doing okay. And please do enjoy this reading. And for everybody else, enjoy it also, whatever you're doing this evening. So I'm going to turn the music down ever so slightly, because, as you know, I love it so much and I love listening to it in the background. Tonight we are going to be reading the 154th night, and you're actually lucky that we are, because until about half an hour ago, Joanna was fast asleep on her sofa because she sat down on her sofa about 2 hours ago with a cup of tea and didn't resurface until about half an hour ago when she suddenly woke up and went, wait, what time is it? So we're lucky that we're joining each other all this evening. Anyway, okay, everybody, here we go. Now, when it was the 100, thank you very much for the hearts and likes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, when it was the 154th night, Scheherazade said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, that Shams al-Nahar filled a goblet and handed it to Ali bin Bakkar, after which she bade another damsel sing, and she began singing these couplets. My tears, thus flowing, rival with my wine, pouring the like of what fills cup to brink. By Allah, what I not and run these eyne will wine, or else it of tears I drink." And when she ended her recitation, Ali bin Bakkar drained his cup and turned it to Shams al-Nahar. She filled it again and gave it to Abu al-Hassan, who tossed it off. Then she took the lute, saying, "None shall sing over my cup save myself." So she screwed up the strings and intoned these verses. The tears run down his cheeks in double row, and in his breast high flameth lover low. He weeps when near, a-fearing to be far, and, whether far or near, his teardrops flow. And the words of another: "Our life to thee, O cupboy, beauty dight, from parted hair to carve, from black to white. Sol beneath from thy hands and from thy lips, Pleiads and full moon through thy collar's night. Good sooth the cups which made our heads fly round, are those thine eyes passed round to daze the sight? No wonder lovers hail they as full moon, waning to them, for self ere waxing bright. Art thou a deity, and quicken? Ty and Sephir assented with thy sprite. Thou art not of this order of human, itty, but angel lent by heaven to man. When Ali, Bakar, and Abu al and those present heard Shams al-Nahar's song, they were like to fly for joy, and sported and laughed. But while they were thus enjoying themselves, up came a damsel, trembling for fear, and said, O my lady, the commander of the faithful's eunuchs are at the door. Afif and Masrur and others whom wot I not. When they heard this, they were like to die with fright. But Shams al-Nahar laughed and said, Have no fear. Then quoth she to the damsel, Keep answering them whilst we remove hence. And she caused the doors of the alcove to be closed upon Ali and Abu al-Hasan, and let down the curtains over the entrance, they being still within. After which she shut the door of the saloon and went out by the privy wicket into the flower garden, where she seated herself on a couch she had there, and made one of the damsels knead her feet. Then she dismissed the rest of her women to their rooms, and bade the portress admit those who were at the door, whereupon Mazur entered, he and his company of 20 with drawn swords. And when they saluted her, she asked, Wherefore come ye? Whereto they answered, The commander of the faithful saluteth thee. Indeed, he is desolated for want of thy sight. He letteth thee know that this be to him a day of joy and great gladness, and he wishes to seal his day and complete his pleasure with thy company at this very hour. So say, wilt go up to him, or shall he come to thee? Upon this she rose, and kissing the earth, replied, I hear and I obey the commandment of the Prince of true believers. Then she summoned the women's guards of her household and other slave damsels, who lost no time in attending upon her, and made a show of obeying the Caliph's orders. And albeit everything about the place was in readiness, she said to the eunuchs, Go to the commander of the faithful, and tell him that I await him after a little space, that I may make ready for him a place with carpets and other matters. So they returned in haste to the Caliph, whilst Shams al-Nahar, doffing her outer gear, repaired to her lover Ali bin Bakar, and drew him to her bosom, and bade him farewell, whereat he wept sore and said, O my lady, this leave-taking will cause the ruin of my very self, and the loss of my very soul. But I pray Allah grant me patience to support the passion wherewith he hath afflicted me. Replied she, By Allah, none shall suffer perdition save I. For thou wilt fare forth to the bazaar, and consort with those that shall divert thee, and thy life will be sound, and thy love hidden for sure. But I shall fall into trouble and tristesse, nor find any to console me, nor by token that I have given the Caliph a tryst, wherein haply great perils shall betide me by reason of my love for thee, and my longing of thee, and my grief at being parted from thee. For With what tongue shall I sing? And with what heart shall I present myself before the Caliph? And with what speech shall I accompany the commander of the faithful in his cups? And with what eyes shall I look upon a place where thou art absent? And with what taste shall I drink of wine of which thou drinkest not? Quoth Abu al-Hasan, be not troubled, but take patience, and be not remiss in entertaining the commander of the faithful this night, neither show him any neglect, but be good of heart. Now, at this juncture, behold, up came a damsel, who said to Shams al-Nahar, O my lady, the Caliph's pages are come. So she hastily rose to her feet and said to the maid, take Abu al-Hasan and his friend, and carry them to the upper balcony, giving upon the garden, and there leave them till darkness come on. When do thou contrive to carry them forth? Accordingly, the girl led them up to the balcony, and locking the door upon them, went her way. As they sat looking on the garden, lo, the Caliph appeared escorted by 100 eunuchs, with drawn swords in hand, and girt about with a score of damsels, as they were moon, all clad in the richest of raiment, and on each one's head was a crown set with jewels and rubies, while each carried a lighted flambeau. The Caliph walked in their midst, they encompassing him about on all sides, and Masrur and Afif and Wazif went before him, and he bore himself with a graceful gait. So Shams al-Nahar and her maidens rose to receive him, and meeting him at the garden door, kissed ground between his hands. Nor did they cease to go before him till they brought him to the couch whereon he sat down, whilst all the waiting women who were in the garden and the eunuchs stood before him. And there came fair handmaids and concubines, holding in hand lighted candles and perfumes and incense and instruments of mirth and music. Then the sovereign bade the singers sit down each in her place, and Shams al-Nahar came up and, seating herself on a stool by the side of the Caliph's couch, began to converse with him. All this happening whilst Abu al-Hasan and Ali bin Bakr looked on and listened, unseen of the king. Presently, the Caliph fell to jesting and toying with Shams al-Nahar, and both were in the highest spirits, glad and gay, when he bade them throw open the garden pavilion. So they opened the doors and windows and lighted the tapers till the place shone in the season of darkness, even as the day. Then the eunuchs removed thither the wine service, and, quoth Abu al-Hasan, I saw drinking vessels and rarities who like mine eyes never beheld, vases of gold and silver, and all manner of noble metals and precious stones, such as no power of description can describe, till indeed it seemed to me I was dreaming, for excess of amazement at what I saw. But as for Ali bin Bakr, from the moment Shams Nahar left him, he lay strown on the ground for stress of love and desire. And when he revived, he fell to gazing upon these things that had not their like, and saying to Abu al-Hasan, Oh, my brother, I fear lest the Caliph see us or come to know of our case, but the most of my fear is for thee. For myself, of a truth, I know that I am about to be lost past recourse, and the cause of my destruction is naught but love and longing and excessive desire and distraction and disunion from my beloved after union with her. But I beseech Allah to deliver us from this perilous predicament. And they ceased not to look out of the balcony on the Caliph, who was taking his pleasure, till the banquet was spread before him, when he turned to one of the damsels and said to her, "O Garam, let us hear some of thine enchanting songs." So she took the lute and, tuning it, began singing. The laughing of a Bedouin maid, whose folks are far away, who yearns after the willow of the Hajaz and the bay, whose tears, when she on travellers lights, might for their water serve, and eke her passion with its head, their bivouac fire purvey, is not more fierce nor ardent than my longing for my love, who deems that I commit a crime in loving him away. Now, when Shams al-Nahar heard these verses, she slipped off the stool whereon she sat and fell to the earth fainting, and became insensible to the world around her, upon which the damsels came up and lifted her up. And when Ali bin Bakar saw this from the balcony, he also slipped down senseless. And Abu al-Hasan said, "Verily, fate hath divided love equally upon you twain." As he spoke low, in came the damsel who had led them up in the balcony and said to him, "O Abu al-Hasan, arise now, and arise thou and thy friend, and come down. For of a truth the world hath waxed straight upon us, and I fear lest our case be discovered, or the Caliph come aware of you. Unless you descend at once, we are dead ones." Quoth he, "And how shall this youth descend with me, seeing that he hath no strength to rise?" Thereupon the damsel began sprinkling rose water on Ali bin Bakar till he came to his senses, when Abu al-Hasan lifted him up, and the damsel made him lean upon her. So they went down from the balcony and walked on a while, till the damsel opened a little iron door and made the two friends pass through it, and they came upon a bench by the Tigris's bank. Thereupon the slave girl clapped her hands, and there came up a man with a little boat, to whom she said, "Take these two young men and land them on the opposite side." So both entered the boat, and as the man rowed off with them, and they left the gardens behind them, Ali bin Bakar looked back towards the Caliph's palace and the grounds, and bade them farewell with these two couplets: "I offered this weak hand as last farewell, while to heart-burning fire that hand is guided. Oh, let not this end union, let not this be last provision for long and provided." Thereon the damsel said to the boatman, "Make haste with them both." So he plied his oars deftly, the slave girl being still with them, And Scheherazade perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. What time is it? Have a little sip of my tea. So I'm going to read one more night for you all. It's not a hugely long one, so it's going to be okay. I hope you're all still sitting comfortably. Thank you for listening in. Now, when it was the 155th night, Scheherazade said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, that the boatman moved them towards the other bank till they reached it and landed, whereupon she took leave of them, saying, 'It were my wish not to abandon you, but I can go no further than this.' Then she turned back, whilst Ali bin Bakkar lay prostrate on the ground before Abu al-Hasan, and by no manner or means could he rise, till his friend said to him, 'Indeed, this place is not sure, and I fear lest we lose our lives in this very spot by reason of the lewd fellows who invest it, and highwaymen and men of lawlessness.' Upon this, Ali bin Bakkar arose and walked a little, but could not continue walking. Now, Abu al-Hasan had friends in that quarter, so he made search for one of them, in whom he trusted, and who was one of his intimates, and knocked at the door. The man came out quickly, and seeing them bade them welcome, and brought them into his house, where he sat them and talked with them, and asked them whence they came. Quoth Abu al-Hasan, 'We came out but now, being obliged thereto by a person with whom I had dealings, and who hath in his hands dirhams of mine. And it reached me that he designed to flee into foreign parts with my monies. So I fared forth tonight in quest of him, taking with me for company this youth Ali bin Bakkar. But when we came in hoping to see the debtor, he hid from us, and we could get no sight of him. Accordingly, we turned back empty-handed, without a do-it. But it was irksome to us to return home at this hour of the night. So wishing not whither to go, we came to thee, well knowing thy kindness and wonted courtesy.' 'Ye are welcome, and well come,' answered the host, and studied to do them honour. So the twain abode with him the rest of the night, and as soon as the daylight dawned, they left him and made their way back without aught delay to the city. When they came to the house of Abu al-Hasan, he conjured his comrade to enter. So they went in, and lying down on the bed, slept a while. As soon as they awoke, Abu al-Hasan bade his servant spread the house with rich carpets, saying in his mind, 'Needs must I divert this youth and distract him from thinking of his affliction, for I know his case better than another.' Then he called for water for Ali bin Bakkar, who, when it was, rose up from his bed, and making his ablutions, prayed the obligatory prayers, which he had omitted for the past day and night, after which he sat down and began to solace himself by talking with his friend. When Abu al-Hasan saw this, he turned to him and said, 'O my lord, it were fitter for thy case that thou abide with me this night. So, they say, breast may be broadened, and this distress of love-longing that is upon thee be dispelled, and thou make merry with us, so haply the fire of thy heart may thus be quenched.' Ali replied, O my brother, do what seemeth good to thee, for I may not on any wise escape from what calamity hath befallen me, so act as thou wilt. Accordingly, Abu al-Hasan arose and bade his servants summon some of the choicest of his friends, and sent for singers and musicians who came. And meanwhile he made ready meat and drink for them. So they sat eating and drinking and making merry through the rest of the day till nightfall. Then they lit the candles, and the cups of friendship and good fellowship went round amongst them, and the time passed pleasantly with them. Presently a singing woman took the lute and began singing. I've been shot by fortune, and shaft of eye down struck me and parted from fondest friend. Time has proved him foe, and my patience failed, yet I ever expected it thus would end. When Ali bin Bakkar heard her words, he fell to the earth in a swoon, and ceased not lying in his fainting fit till daybreak. And Abu al-Hasan despaired of him. But with the dawning he came to himself and sought to go home, nor could his friend hinder him for fear of the issue of his affair. So he made his servants bring a she-mule, and mounting Ali thereon, carried him to his lodgings, he and one of his men. When he was safe at home, Abu al-Hasan thanked Allah for his deliverance from that sore peril, and sat a while with him, comforting him. But Ali could not contain himself for the violence of his love and longing. So Abu al-Hasan rose to take leave of him and return to his own place. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. Dear friends, it has been an absolute pleasure reading for you this evening. I actually only got 1 hour's sleep last night for various reasons. A little bit of binge Netflix watching didn't help. So this evening I am going to keep it short and love you and leave you. Wish you many blessings, many salams, and I hope you have, wherever you are in the world, a very, very beautiful day, a very, very beautiful afternoon, evening, and if you are like me and about to go off into the land of dreams, I hope your dreams are beautiful and filled with absolute joy for the coming day. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves and see you tomorrow at 9:45 p.m. That's 21:45 Central European Time for the 146th night of 1001 Arabian Nights. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.